There's the voice of Casey in the background as the 5'8" in Adam Kieran places the ball for the Bulldogs. Both these two teams finding season 2016 a little bit up and down, and the Knights back at home in the first 4 games in a row here at Hunter Stadium. A great kickoff, and straight away the Bulldogs, look at them swarming in on the Newcastle Knights. Plenty of pressure early there for Cameron King. He gets his opportunity to start. We're seeing some more vicious defence here from the Bulldogs. Ben Anderson has fired these youngsters up to come here to Newcastle. He spoke about it in the interview before the game, the challenge that it is to play Newcastle in Newcastle. And the Knights doing the grunt work off their own line. That Bulldogs speed of the line certainly up and into Sam Stone. Just making their way out of their own 20. Eventually a kick by Jack Cogger, able to hit the ground and gave the Knights some more time to get down there on the kick chase.
Yeah, a little bit rushed that back end of that set. We'd like to have a bit more of a set-up play, so Cogger could have got a better kick in, but not to be. I think that was a really good start, a good set for the Bulldogs.
Here's a solid charge by Finau off the wing. You'll notice with these Bulldogs, they take a couple into the positive and then come back against the grain or against where the play the ball come from, and that's what you've seen now with the big front rower. On the back of that now, the lock forward and Strickland. In fact, the back row today, Strickland plays it centre field 30 metres out. Here's the Bulldogs on the attack. It's Jamal lookalike, this fella for the Bulldogs, almost identical. And they play the ball just in from that eastern touchline. Coming centre field, looking for an attacking kick here. It's on the ground. Danger times here for the Knights, but Meaney, we focused on him before the game, put the body on the line and come up with a great save.
Yeah, Nick knows where to turn up. He's one of those guys that got that bit of instinct about the fullback and where the ball's going to go. So, they need to get a bit of a yardage set out of here, get their outside backs in and do a bit of work because they're under a bit of pressure here.
They sure are, and Sopalula has the football now. Certainly can find the try line, scoring 12 tries already in this grade as well as plenty in the Intrust Super Premiership. The Knights now, this set's a little bit more smooth for them, and the big boy rolling his sleeves up now in Butterfield. He gets it just short of the halfway line. Good position for Cogger to make a clearing kick, and Jack's got the footy. In fact, and now the pressure comes. Referee ruling not played at. Meaney has the good presence of mind to stop and kick the ball down deep. Bit of a juggle back in the in goal. Luckily for now, there's plenty of time there. Big and strong with the football too, the winger for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, the Dogs have got some big guys in there. The hookers as well, Tommy Starling, he's in the same sort of physique, Montana as well, so Trey Montana. So both those guys are, they're pretty active out of there, so a good little battle in the nines.
Once again, you're seeing this Bulldog set coming off their own line where they take that run back to where the play the ball was on the previous tackle. Now they're rolling the sleeves up. And the Knights defence also willing, meeting them at the advantage on that good dart out of dummy half from Joey Tramontana. Playing in the hooker position, a key change for the Bulldogs. Here's a clearing kick from the 5'8". Meaney positioned himself brilliantly once again. Great positional play to get the ball on the full and bring it back for the Knights 20 metres out from their own line. Sopalula in a dummy half. Both headgears on the wing is similar. Bailey Jenkins and Matthew Sopalula. Starling out of dummy half. Just trying to move the ball a little bit here, the Knights, and Stone on that left edge. Runs like a Steve Simpson type line, willing to put the hand up. Now Butterfield's got it just short of the halfway line. Starling back against the grain again. Once again looking to come up with a play, and good defence by the Bulldogs. Plenty of kick pressure on Cogger here. You can tell that they know he's a key player. Able to find the ground once again. A great kick by Cogger. Ball rolling right back into the in goal.
Yeah, that's a nice kick there from Cogger. The experience, knowing that you've got to go forward on that play 5 and get a really quick play the ball so you can get a nice kick in, and that's what he did there. So it's only as good as a chase, and they need to pay that respect to the kick.
He's a wonderful young talent, Jack Cogger. He's progressed through the grades beautifully, and very young to be playing in the NRL already. His 35th game today in the NYC competition indicates just how good he's been. Now the Bulldogs rolling their sleeves up. Louis Strickland able to get to halfway. Quick play the ball too, meaning out of dummy half now. They can put some pressure on through Tramontana.
Yeah, the markers for Newcastle need to be a little bit better than what they have. Trey Montana's got out of there pretty easy at times, so I'm sure Coach Lowry will be out there with a message to just tighten up around that ruck.
Bit of a circus act here from Finau on the last. I don't think he was expecting the football. Juggled it and it meant a turnover. So the Knights will get the football. Could have easily been a penalty. Pretty clever to slow it down there, Dan. Now the Knights go centre field. Heath Gibbs, of course, he is a nephew of Tamana Tahu.
Yeah, he is. Gibbsy's played SG ball this year. There's a couple that have played SG ball out there on display today. But, yeah, if he's got some of the attributes of Tamana Tahu, we're in for a pretty good ride to watch his career unfold.
Here's Cameron King with the football now. Plenty of early touches starting in the front row for the Knights. Now Starling will get the ball away. Knights looking to move it quickly to Stone once again. That combination with Newman already evident in the early stages. Stone able to drag the defenders downfield with him. Neil Platt 25 metres out. Starling out of dummy half, looking to link up with Cogger. Off his right foot and progresses the ball downfield. Dangerous with the football. Meaning he's tackled on the 5th and someone else is going to have to come up with the kick. Starling out of dummy half. Can he dribble one into the in goal? Can he? Sure can. Mistake by the Bulldogs. Casey Badger says that he grounded it in goal. Clever play there by Starling. You've done a little bit of work with him too, Dan.
Yeah, Tommy's a kid from the Central Coast. He's been in our system for a lot of years now, and he's got a lot of good attributes, Tommy. The best thing about him is his attitude and his competitiveness. He's one of those kids that'll never let you down. But this right edge, they seem to be kicking down here in Newcastle, so they see that left edge of the Bulldogs, maybe something they can expose a little, and they have at the minute. Speaking
of exposing, I think Jason Finau might get some traffic this afternoon. A couple of nervous early touches.
Yeah, he's coming from Montoya, so you know he'll. I guess he's would have played SG ball himself, but Montoya's gone up into the cup, and looking forward to watching him this afternoon.
Good defence again from the Bulldogs from the kick restart, and the Knights now resetting that platform. Sam Stone with the football. Son of former Newcastle Knights head coach Rick Stone is off to Huddersfield.
In Huddersfield.
He's in Huddersfield already.
Yeah, he's had a couple of games. So.
There you go. Now the Knights have great field position. Centre field 10 metres out. Cogger with the football. Out the back to Meany. Bulldogs defence know the dangers there, and Manu come out of the line quickly and knocked him over. Starling now, creative out of dummy half. Almost had too many options there. Now he comes back to where to play the ball, and he's bulldogged to the ground. That'll be a penalty. Manu just couldn't help the temptation to try and go again, and good competition from Starling there fighting for the penalty.
Yeah, Tommy he's always in the battle, Tommy. He's never far from the ball. Yeah, I'd like to see a little bit more second phase here. We'll see what he can come up with. I know it's a little bit slippery, but playing that ad-lib footy is always good in this style of 20s.
Butterfield now, centre field, just next to the right-hand upright. Starling turns the ball back inside. Strong run here from Amy going towards the try line. He was able to score a try last week against Manly and be looking to get over the strip again. But he's dragged down just short. Starling got a fright, then the Bulldogs' defence jumped off the line. A little bit too quick there.
You can't extend past the centre of that rock.
It's a perfect explanation from Casey. You can't jump in there. You've got to wait till the hooker picks the ball up and moves before you can go in and try and tackle him.
No wonder he got a fright, Dan. Starling wasn't expecting that. It was just a little too quick out of the blocks for the Bulldogs. Now here's the Knights once again through Cameron King. Geez, been strong in the early exchanges in the first 8.5 minutes. Plays it a couple of metres out. Cogger with the football. Quick hands. Unfortunately, the first touch for Eddie Tuilota-Lava. Just a little bit behind him. Good pressure from the Bulldogs.
Yeah, you'd be disappointed with that. That's a bit of possession, and you know they've had the majority of the footy down here in the first half, opening exchanges. So, you know, when you come up against a team that's having a bit of shape at you, as the Bulldogs have done, they've come up and in, and that's the thing about the Bulldogs all through the grades. They'll come up and in all day and shut down those shapes.
One of the key components of this competition, we speak a lot to coaches, and Todd Lowry in his first year as coach, learning to try and instill that patience in the players.
Yeah, it is. It's you know, I guess it comes down to the play the ball speed. Sometimes they still go through the play without being a quick play the ball, and all of a sudden the defence is in their face. So it's all about experience, and the competition does give them that.
Look at this run from the Bulldogs. He certainly looks like Jamal Idris. Hockenbar now plays the ball all the way out to the 40-metre line. She's big and strong. And Jaden now has set that, relieved the pressure for the Bulldogs in the second run now. From the back rower, Strickland gets the ball to the halfway line. And the Bulldogs already out of danger zones and into some good ball. Here's some quick shift to the edges as well. Manu back on the inside. Knights came in defence, knocked backwards in the fullback. Bergerman's got it, and he's away. Great tackle by his opposition fullback in Meany. Danger still here with the Bulldogs on the attack. Moving it quickly, it'll be a try to the back row, and Doris Miller, who has been absolutely outstanding for the Bulldogs. His numbers have been enormous. First touch is a try.
Yeah, nice bit of footwork there. He did offload Manu with his great footwork and could have gone forward, but, you know, picked it up and played on, and there was a good little exchange there between the two number ones in the fullback position. So they sort of went against the flow of play. They came back to the short side with Kieran, and he was good enough to pop a nice ball up.
Yeah, they certainly look good when they move the footy, and Toddy Lowry spoke about this today with the Bulldogs. With their position on the ladder, they're always going to come with a heap of youngsters and throw the ball around with ball in hand, and they've done that first up.
Yeah, nothing to lose today for the Bulldogs. The boys obviously blading a few youngsters, want to finish the season off for high, but the Newcastle boys obviously got a bit of pressure because they can play for the semis, and it is a hard game to play when there's nothing to play for, but, you know, they don't play with pressure here. They just play the scoreboard, and there's nothing like pressure in the scoreboard than tries, and, you know, the Bulldogs have struck early here.
No doubt about it. Doris Miller, 7th try for the season. Looks like he's got a real future as well, Dan.
Yeah, the coach, Benny Anderson's given him a plug and said he's been one of the best all year and consistent, along with Kieran. So, nice start, early days. And like I said, it's always, you know, Newcastle had a bit of possession in the early stages there, so they should have come away with points, but not to be. Adam
Kieran has the ball placed. He too was a key part of that backline movement when they shifted the ball quickly to the left-hand edge in attack. The left footer. Pretty tough conditions here in Newcastle. It's a bit bleak and a bit overcast. And Adam Kieran will be trying to block that out. As the ball placed, taking plenty of time. Starts it a little to the right, but moves it back through beautifully and adds the extra 2 points. Bulldogs 6, leading the Knights 0. Knights would be frustrated by that, Danny Badeiros, because they had all the attack, turn around. The first opportunity the Bulldogs had with the ball, they come up with points. Yeah, not the start they would have wanted, but they had a bit of possession, so it can change pretty quickly. The other team always can come down and score pretty quickly after a bit of possession, just to get your defence back in mind. They've got to get their head around this set, the Newcastle boys, and put a good one in. Look at this charge, kicking off the back fence for the Bulldogs, and the Knights' defence were equal to the task as the big front rower plays the football. It was Tia. Once again, their go forward good for the Bulldogs. Almost even coming up with the penalty. Once again, they move to the open side. This time it's through Hayden Ashcroft. Plays it 5 metres short of the halfway line. Back against the grain again to the centre of the field. Looks like a pretty well-rehearsed sequence set for the Bulldogs. Yeah, it's getting forward there, Frank. Nothing with too risky or anything like that. No too many dramas, but if that goes down, we've got a 7-tackle set coming up here. That makes a big difference in this day and age. It was a great set. First set after points is so important, particularly for these youngsters, to complete the set. Had that been able to stay in play, it makes a big difference. 7 tackles. Absolutely. Every team's got some sort of core, whether it's a gold set or something, that as soon as you score, you've got to complete that next set, get a good kick in. Now the Knights, it is Nick Meany, first touch, able to just poke his head through the line, which meant that the Knights' attack could start on the front foot. Here's some good defence, but a bit of second phase that Danny Badeiros has been calling for. Unfortunately, the Knights couldn't progress the ball too far forward. And Tommy Starling will play a little slow up from that play the ball, a bit ginger. Here's Eddie with the ball. Big Eddie to a Lotalava, trying to make up for an early little knock on. And he plays the ball 35 metres out. Starling out of dummy half. Flat pass and a beauty as well. Knights are nearly able to go through. Butterfield it was. Thought if he could have got an offload, there was some space on the outside. Now they move it quickly to Sam Stone, who is under enormous pressure. Bulldogs are up in his face. And now here's some counter-attack from the Bulldogs. The battle of these fullbacks, we're already seeing Meany and Bergerman dangerous when they got the football. Yeah, for sure. I think, as you saw just there from that play from Newman, they just keep on going through the play no matter what. You've got to start looking at the defence and what it's going to do. And if that's not the right play, then you hold it and come up with something different. No doubt at some stage there'll be some opportunities out the back behind Sam Stone, because he is running those good lines and pulling in defenders. Now the Bulldogs, it is move the ball quickly to this left-hand edge, and Manu with the football. Jack Cogger's got a hold of him. Eventually they drag him to the ground. It took some doing, and Tui Lotalava had to come in and help out. Now the ball shifted centre field for the Bulldogs. Tia gets an offload. Back to this edge where they've had some success in the early days, and Miller eventually dragged down. Now they go centre field on the 5th tackle. Here's a crossfield kick. A beauty as well by the 5'8" in Kieran. And Sopalula, no, it's the other winger in Bailey Jenkins, did a wonderful job to come down with the football.
Yeah, he's Sopalula. He can get up. That was Sopalula. He can get up and do a few things in the air. He's pretty comfortable under the high ball. So I like the look of Kieran. He's got a good left foot on him, and in the weather today, it's going to give a bit of a workout, that nice kick of his.
Two wingers with identical headgear, and they nearly look exactly the same. I'll work that one out.
Good luck with that, Frankie.
We'll get that sorted pretty quickly. Now the Knights centre field. She's doing a wonderful job starting Cameron King. Racking up some big numbers. Here's Sam Stone. Wants the football early so he can charge for. That's a great charge by Sam Stone. Gee, he's got some Steve Simpson about it.
Yeah, what you're seeing is that the Dogs are tackling in numbers. There's probably 3 or 4 in every set. So if you can create that little offload, there will be some space in and around those 4 packs.
Jack Cogger had liked that kick again. He just had a second thought. He went a bit more to the line and he skewed a little bit to the right and it skimmed over. And I know for now, certainly appreciated a little bit easier take. It's compounding errors here for the Knights as well. Just a little too long in the ruck for Tommy Starling.
I disagree with that.
Tyrone Amy had no doubt when he was told by Casey Badger, wanted to challenge it and said, no.
Don't talk to the women in Women League, mate. They run the show today.
I think they run it all the time. Certainly in your household they do.
Absolutely.
You've got some wonderful women in your support crew. We'll talk a little bit more about that later as the Dogs are. This time the Knights are aiming up in defence. Maybe a little bit of frustration there might stir them up. Another good touch here early by Louis Strickland. Makes it 40 metres out. Joey Tramontana screaming for a penalty. Now they shift the ball quickly, the Bulldogs. Here's the fullback and the skipper in Bergerman. Dangerous, able to beat a couple of tackles. He did the same last week and created plenty of opportunities.
Milking.
Trying to get a penalty. The referees were onto it. They were saying it was milking, particularly the pocket referee and Drew Outram. Well done by the referees to keep the game flowing. Now the Bulldogs, centre field, 12 metres out. They come to the left-hand side. They've had good success early. The 5'8" this time taking them on him, Adam Kieran. He's been dangerous for them. Yeah, he's the last chance for Kerr on the 5th. Gets it away to Tramontana. He steps back inside, sees some space, kicks to the post. A clever little kick too. Can the Knights get out? No, they can't. I thought the Bulldogs were a little lazy here on the left edge in the kick chase, but one was good enough to knock him in the end goal.
Yeah, the kick was off the cuff, so the chase obviously didn't know what was happening there, but their ruck defence has to pick up from a Newcastle's point of view their contact, giving away their inside shoulders. So we'll see what they can come up with here, but it's a big set for them.
Tramontana's been so good for the Bulldogs. Creative.
He's busy.
He's busy.
Both number 9s are very busy.
That's what you want in your number 9. Look at this charge here by the Bulldogs. They're certainly willing when they've got the footy in hand.
Just going forward, Frank. Playing off the back of some real good quick play the balls.
Yeah, Tia was the one who had the ball before. Now it's Strickland. That is the platform they want. Starling do a wonderful job to slow the play the ball down. Now they move to the right-hand side. The fullback in Bergerman beats that first tackle more times than not. The Knights have got the numbers in defence and they push him backwards. Now they go to the right-hand side. Kerr with the football. Here's a beautiful line by the centre in Gleeson it is. Knights desperate in defence, drag him down. They come back centre field now. Drag down only a metre out. 5th tackle. Will they get a repeat set of 6? The Bulldogs. They're going to chance their hand through the big front rower and Tia. If they had their time again, they probably would have played the percentage and tried to get the repeat set of 6.
Yeah, that would have been hard to take. You know, for Newcastle's point of view, if they had to defend another set, you can see Tanoa Brown's about to go on now to make a substitution, which is well needed.
That might be a key strategy there by Toddy Lowry, bringing Tanoa Brown, he's one of the more experienced players for the Knights. A good time to bring him into the game.
Yeah, we've had 2 players. The Knights have Tanoa Brown and Big Eddie. They're from the Melbourne setup down there for a couple of years, and they've been up here this year. So he's got a big future, Jermaine, and hopefully he needs to get a little bit fitter. And once he does, he's in for a big future.
And Altona Rooster, one of the great clubs down there in Melbourne, who've worked hard on their rugby league and developing it. Good kick out of dummy half by Starling. He's done what Jack Gibson said to do and kick for the Seagulls. Plenty of space down there, which meant the Knights now get a good kick chase. And he's led that kick chase too. Wonderful inspiration there by the hooker.
Yeah, he needs a few more with him. Hopefully they all knew about that kick, the communication from Tommy. Hopefully they knew what the chase was going to be like. But there's a little bit of breeze there running into the face of the Newcastle boys, so they need to play a bit more field position.
Not only some breeze, but also some hunter weather rolling in. A little bit of rain might
Good
make
old
it
southerly.
Oh, here's a good shot by Tyrone Amy. I think he might have ripped that one out. No. Yes.
Hands in there.
Drew Outram doing a wonderful job in the pocket, referee. Just a little too tempting there for the big front rower in Tyrone Amy. Good shot. And then he undone the good work by ripping the ball out here.
Yeah, you can't get away with that anymore, but the contact was what the Newcastle boys are more likely to, what they want. But, you can't go doing that.
Oh, now they'll be under some pressure because the Bulldogs have the ball on tackle one, centre field 22 metres out. Here's Kerr with the football, out the back to Bergman, quickly moved to the far side to Gleeson. Here's some space on the edge, good flick pass back inside. Simonson it was that I thought he was going into touch because Sopalorla did a wonderful job to show him the sideline, but he flicked the ball back inside. Bulldogs now coming centre field. As you can see, the ground getting a little slippery. This little fella working across field, turns it back inside. He's going to keep asking questions, Joey Tramontana. And now the Bulldogs will play the ball a metre out on the third tackle. Still a few up their sleeve. Back out to the 5'8", the key playmaker, and he goes to his connection man in Miller. Great defence there to drag him down by the Knights. Some space centre field. Strickland with the football. Some of his teammates wanted it on the outside. He takes the tackle 1 metre out. Fifth tackle. Will they come up with the play? They've decided to chance. Bergerman's got it, backing himself, and he'll score. Josh Bergerman kept chancing his hand. He's been the key player for them, and he comes up with a second try for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, there's a nice flick pass there. There's a bit of ad-lib stuff. They're obviously not playing with any pressure, and there it is there, the flick pass going to hand, and you create your own luck. Over onto this right wing of Newcastle. Jenkins got caught, probably not doing the same thing as his winger. They were doing opposite things, and he had a chance to stop the ball getting put on the ground, but not to be. And we need an important message going out there from the coach to keep positive and get down there and force a few errors. It'll all swing pretty soon. And
you can see there, Dan, what you're talking about is with the up and in defence these days, if one goes, your centre goes, your winger needs to go with them.
Yeah, your centre makes the decision. So you've just got to do exactly what he does and you come in. So that comes with a bit of cohesion and playing together week in, week out, and you understand how they like to defend. But all the coaches want the winger and the centre doing exactly the same.
And if you're the coach, Ben Anderson, you want the fullback Bergerman to have the football in those positions. He's a competitor, and like we've said a few times, plenty of skill.
He likes to get the ball out the back, doesn't he, Bergerman, and his understanding of how he can beat guys, because, like you said, that defence does come up and in, and he's sort of got the ability to skip on the outside or on the inside and find that pass.
Had an outstanding game last week, over 160 metres, a couple of try assists, a line breaks, and I think some one-on-one saving tackles as well. So Ben Anderson spoke about the importance of him. He gets the skipper role today, and he's leading from the front. The Bulldogs, you'd have to consider it to be an upset if they're able to come up with a win today. And as we touched on, vitally important for the Newcastle Knights to have a victory here at home and stay in touch with the 8 after 5 losses in a row. Tough kick here for the 5'8" in Adam Kieran. 22 metres out and a couple of metres in from the western touchline. Starts it to the right once again. He's got it tracing in beautifully. Another 2 points. 12-0, the Bulldogs over the Knights.
Yeah, you can see Kieran just likes to have that little bit of a slice on it. So he's just aiming it at that right post, and that bit of a southerly that's kicking through here on the ground. It's getting a little worse now, Frank. So I think we're in for the next, what have we got, 60 minutes, say, of a bit of wet weather.
Looks a little bit like your 3-wood off the deck. It's got a bit more slice in it than that, though.
I don't allow for that, though, mate.
He doesn't play for it. The Bulldogs are playing for it. They'll be looking to complete this set of 6 as the conditions certainly get a lot tougher. There'll be some scoreboard pressure now for the Knights. 12-0 in these conditions, hard to come up with points.
Yeah, and a must-win game. So I'm sure you'll see an early kick here from the Dogs and get down. I'll back their defence because they're defending really well, and that's why they're forcing the issue with their D.
Ockenbaugh has the football now. Can't believe how amazingly the lookalike he is with Jamal Idris.
Yeah, Big Jamal's up in the Group 3 area still. That's up Taree and Wingham. I think he's popped into the odd game. I'm pretty sure he's meant to put the boots on, but hasn't to be yet, up at Wingham.
Here's Kerr with the football. Backs himself as well and steals some space. Bounces out of the tackle. Hit a beautiful pass too. It was on... Oh, it's a penalty here. The referee has seen a high shot here. Must have been right on contact point. It was a great play there by Will Kerr. Hitting the player. Oh, they've actually gone back to the high shot on Will Kerr. You can see there in our replay.
Going to tap? Tap coming?
Go.
Okay.
Pretty tough call.
Yeah, bit of a tough call, but it is what it is, and they've got a big set coming up here, the Newcastle boys.
They sure do as the weather rolls into Hunter Stadium here on Bundaberg Super Saturday. Bergerman with the ball out the back. Jack Cogger knows he needs to put some attention to him. Picks him up and slams him on the ground. You can hear Dan Badera saying much better from young Jack Cogger there. They keep coming to the left-hand side where they've had some success. And they've had success with this bloke. Too big and too strong in Miller. He gets a double early within the first half. Geez, big and strong. And that combination between Miller and Kieran is key for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, you don't want teams to play around you today. You've got to go up and in and force the issue. So Jenkins just needs to come up and jam. He needs to come right in there and jam on that pass. So if you stay out wide on your wingman, exactly what's going to happen. So he needs to come in and jam, and I'm sure they'll address that at halftime.
We're just seeing the put down. These conditions are very slippery, and you can see that as he's reaching out to put the football down, it was very close to being short of the line. I think it's got on the line, and on the line's a try.
Just on the line there, Frank.
You'd love that to be short, Danny Badaris, wouldn't you?
No, they deserve to be leading here, the Bulldogs. They're playing a better style of footy, a bit more desperate, and you can tell they're not playing with much pressure on themselves. So Newcastle boys, they just need to get back to playing good basic wet weather footy and getting a good kick in and a good chase.
Could have nearly left the kicking tee in the same spot as last time. A little bit further out, but as we look at the screen with Darius Miller, interesting first name, Dan. I don't know the background of it, but I don't know if there's been a Darius before in any form of the NRL, certainly. So he might be blazing a trail of his own. His football certainly is doing the talking at the moment. An early double. We knew he'd be one of the key players for the Dogs, and he's proven to be that.
Yeah, it's a good matchup here. Cogger, obviously a couple of weeks ago when he was playing Canberra, Papali ran at him all the time, and I think he made 36 tackles, and they're pretty much all on Papali. So Darius Miller, he's got that same sort of physique. He's got a lot of ability. So that'll be a good little matchup going forward for the rest of this morning.
Adam Kieran has the ball placed. He's 2 from 2, including a really tough kick from a similar spot not too long ago. Starts it a little bit finer than last time, but it's no problem. He strikes it beautifully with the left foot. 3 from 3, and the Bulldogs run away to an 18 points to 0 lead, and still 12 and a half minutes to go in this first half.
Yeah, press up. The Knights need to press up on this, especially on this kick chase, and try and get the team to go around them. And then if you do press up, just keep jamming and force the issues. So we'll see what we got here.
Nick Meaney has just sliced that one off the kickoff again, meaning it'll be a short take. It'll still be 20 metres out when they caught the football. And Manu's able to get over that 20-metre line on the first tackle. Knights will need to really aim up here defensively. You can see that they're keen to get up into the defence of the Bulldogs. They'll have to go back and play the football there, the referee.
Another one.
Calling play. And that's Missanali on the football field for the first time. So some fresh legs for the Bulldogs. Kalachi might be also on the field. So a double change there for Ben Anderson. He's the young bloke we spoke about, SG ball captain, as the Bulldogs shift the ball to the right-hand side. Great opportunity for him to come through and play in the 20s.
Yeah, big boy, Kalachi. SG ball, it's a bit of a jump up into the 20s, so it looks more than likely.
Will Kerr doing a wonderful
Call your markers all day, guys.
There you're seeing Casey Badger saying the marker's not square. That's a result of this fast style of football that they're playing.
And they've been off for the first 28 minutes is their marker play. So coaches and teams just drive players nuts about their marker play, so they need to pick it up.
Very clear to see too, Will Kerr getting up into the defensive line with good leg speed, putting pressure on the Knights defensively. Starling there screaming at the pocket referee, thought there might have been a little knock on. Once again, the marker's not square. They're going to get penalised. I think it's purely just, there it is.
You came in
Just
after
wait,
the held
wait,
ball
wait.
to contact him.
Just wait.
They can probably pick a few different things to
There may be
penalise
more
at the
to it than
moment.
that,
If
so
it's
let's
not the
just-
markers,
Penalties here.
they're just really grasping to stay in the ruck at the moment, the Knights. And on the other side of it,
Yeah, because it's quick and the pressure that they're applying, the Bulldogs, they sort of can't cope at the minute. So they just need to get a good set out here.
and on the flip side of that, the Bulldogs, they want to play up-tempo football. You can hear the referee needing to slow them down, and quickly they move it to the back. Here's space once again. Beautiful hands from Bergerman, and it'll be try time for Finau, who started it a little bit tough with some really tough takes, but since the last couple of minutes been able to get some good football. Beautiful backline movement. You spoke about it earlier, Danny Baderas. Out the back, Bergerman, one-on-one with the winger, and it was straightforward, conventional footy backline movements.
Yeah, showing no mercy, the Bulldogs. It's good coaching from Anderson. He's obviously seen that there's a weakness down there from Newcastle, and they've exposed it on a number of times. So I don't know what the coach from Newcastle, Todd Lowry, will do, what he's got on his bench, but might need to make sure he can stiffen up that right edge.
All the tries have been down this corridor.
That's for sure. And Kieran gets to kick on that left foot of his, and he seems to be doing that pretty easy as well. So they're going up by 6s.
It's a bit like Groundhog Day for him at the moment. He can nearly leave the kicking tee in the same spot. And you're right, it's really good coaching here from Ben Anderson, who he's a blue blood when it comes to coaching. I mean, his father, Chris, and his mum. You speak about women in league, Lynn Anderson. Hasn't she blazed a trail over the years? The daughter of the great late Bullfrog Moore. The Moore family have got a wonderful connection to the Bulldogs and rugby league, and great to see that family tradition continue in the Bulldog colours.
Absolutely. It's, like you said, it's royalty. It's entrenched in the blue and white of the Bulldogs, and he's a good man. Opes, Chris Anderson, been on tour with him many a time, mate, over in the mighty UK, and he was a fantastic tour coach. Enjoyed seeing players have a good time off the field, but when you trained, and he had a lot of success in the green and gold.
My uncle Johnny Barrett will be listening today in St George in Queensland. I know he was the
Barrett.
footy manager when he had the heart scare on one of those kangaroo tours. So, yeah, great man, Chris Anderson, a wonderful family. And Ben continues that tradition of great coaches. As we say, an opportunity once again for the 5'8", Adam Kieran. Got the ball placed. He just keeps edging it centimetres and further out and out. This time he's literally 30 centimetres in from the sideline. He's got it on radar once again. He's got a brilliant kicking game. 4 from 4 in tough conditions. 24-0 Bulldogs over the Knights. All right.
Doesn't have to change too much about his technique there, Frank.
No, he doesn't, not at all. Put Todd Lowry's hat on at the moment. You're a coach. What is the message you send down to the Knights?
Just press up. They obviously need the ball. 24 points is obviously doesn't look good, but you just need to get back into the game set by set, and that's with the ball and without the ball. So they need to complete this one here, and no penalties for starters. Get a good kick pressure on, and hopefully can force an error.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. The Bulldogs have had all the possession, and the scoreboard, it shows that with 7.5 minutes out from half-time. The Knights have just had to do all the tackling. And now the Bulldogs out with Troy Montana out of dummy half. He's having a field day with the gaps opening up as the possession rolls against the Knights. Oh, a little bit too creative, probably. Here's a chance for Starling. Pin the ears back. He'd be a little tired after all the tackling.
That is the first time the Knights have touched the ball in 10 minutes. There's a stat that's come through from our boys here at Fox. So they need to make the most of it now, Newcastle.
There you go. 10 minutes without the football to make anyone tired. And Sam Stone now. He'll go all day. Opportunity for the Knights to try to do something about this 24-0 scoreboard. Here's a pass out in front. Good hands there by Tanoa Brown. He's bent backwards by the Bulldogs defence over the top. Centre field 22 metres out. Cogger with the football. Back on the inside, dangerous. Good pass too. He's got support down the middle there. Joey Morris on the field. Morris will play at 10 metres out. Can the Knights come up with something? Starling, flat pass. Once again, the Bulldogs' defence was equal to their numbers into tackles are huge. And the Knights were swarmed in defence there. Pinnock it was. Now a little kick back to the inside. One of the Bulldogs slipped over, and have the Knights been able to come up with a try? I think Drew Outram's pointing to the spot here. It's exactly what he's done. Sam Stone it is that comes up with an opportunity. Kick to the in goal, roll the dice, and they come up with the right result.
Yeah, nice chase there from Sam Stone. He's that player will never sort of give up. Nice little kick there from Newman, which is obviously about trying to force another error and get some possession, which they do need. But there's a good replacement in Joey Morris. Joey Morris has come on and he'll add a lot of energy into the team, which that's what they're lacking at the moment, a bit of energy. That's a really good put down from Sam Stone, just in time before it goes over their dead ball, and well done.
Game of inches, Dan Baderis. There was it needed that commitment. We spoke about it just leading up to that when he got the football going forward, Sam Stone. Honest, turning up on the play, that's what it needed. He come up with the right result.
Yeah, he's got that entrenched into him. He's got, obviously, his dad, Rick. They've been, I'm sure, telling each other how to play for a long time, and a bit of over the dinner table talking footy. So he's a prospect for the Newcastle Knights.
I think he might be lucky he might have got his mum Tanya's physique, though. He's a bit taller and leaner than what Rick was, with great respect. Great coach, Rick Stone. Now here's the Knights. Add the extra 2 points. 24-6 gives them a sniff, and still 5 minutes out from half-time. They need to complete this set and play the footy down the other end in these conditions.
Yeah, well, I guess Newcastle coming off two big conceding a lot of points. I think a 50 and a 40. So, and then they've just leaked 24 in the first 30 minutes. So their confidence in their defence is probably not sky high, obviously. But if they can jag another try going in, I think all you could say is that's been a pretty bad start. But you know, they're definitely not out of the game.
These conditions continue to roll in. Here's a big kickoff from the Bulldogs. Oh, inch perfect. Another half a metre, and that's over the dead ball line, but it was right deep into the in goal. And now the Knights have got the job through Jordan Pinnock to bring it off their own line. Here's the winger, Sopalolo, with a good scoot. Good speed, the youngster there. And as we said, can find the try line. Very keen to get a little bit more football. Here's the try scorer, and Sam Stone with the football. Kalachi up quickly, putting some pressure on defensively. If the Knights can get a little bit of second phase and try and roll the ball down, they put such big numbers in tackles, the Bulldogs, in defence. Yes. There's opportunity.
It is tough when you tackle with 4. Ideally, you don't want to have 4 in the tackle.
Charge down, and they're saying 6 to go this time, and that man you spoke about, Dan, but Joey Morris with the football.
Knock on.
Wow. Now, what they're saying there is the Knights were trying to say that it was knocked down by the Bulldogs
Newcastle back
on Joey Morris, but the referee saying it was all part of the tackle. Knock on.
Momentum killer.
Just
yeah,
a couple of steps back,
someone went Newcastle. That's twice Jack Coggins had that ball charged down, so he's got to get that fixed up. He needs to get those kicks where he wants them. But that was nice play from Joey Morris. But that's the right call. So in this weather, you are going to see mistakes, and obviously holding that ball in security is at a premium.
Heads in here, boys.
Yeah, great pull there by Casey Badger, our centre referee today, seeing that the ball was knocked down by the Bulldogs, and as you said, Dan Baderis, a momentum killer for the Knights as they were just trying to get back into this game. A few minutes out from half-time. Now the Bulldogs, it is, they've got to roll their sleeves up. They'll play it just short of the halfway line. Will Kerr's been a dangerous player in attack. Lockenbar now gets the football, and he's able to get promoted further downfield. He's a real handful on that far right-hand edge. Bulldogs come back centre field. Always chancing their arm with the football. Now they play it 25 metres out. They'll come centre field in the 5'8", Kieran. Plays out the back to the fullback. Now they move it quickly over to Manu. Manu stepping back inside. He sees space, and he'll put the football down. You certainly like the look of him, all right, Dan Baderis.
He has got something, Manu. He's got that left foot. He looks strong, understanding where he has to turn up. Looks like he's got a big future in the game, but that was poor defence from the Newcastle Knights. You need to come across in cover and work together, work in numbers.
Great to see Bergman there. Before, we've seen him plenty of times go right to the line and back himself. This time he shifted the ball early, gave the space to Kiko Manu, and he did the rest himself.
Yeah, Kieran and Bergman obviously enjoyed coming to the left. Why wouldn't you with Manu? That's probably 5 tries they scored down Newcastle's right side.
Just that little skip step. Pressure back on the inside shoulder.
You can see the Newcastle Knights are probably defending a little bit like individuals. There's not much talk, you can obviously see. They just need to keep their line and talk to each other inside and out, and I'm sure they can improve.
It is women in league round. I think he might have been blowing a kiss to his mum in the crowd then, which was obviously nice. I'm sure the coach, Ben Anderson, would be like him to concentrate, but he's certainly got some... So he's got some spunk about him when he's got the football in his hands, and the Bulldogs have really surprised a lot of people here today. We thought the Knights would turn up and with so much to play for, would be the dominant force. But the Bulldogs, it's been all them in this first half.
Just trying to look out for the Knights Nenners. Frankie, I can't see them. It's obviously pretty wet, and they've been for 88 since, you know, going on 30 years here at the club. They've been turning up in rain, hail, and shine. So they'll be here again today.
We'll find them, Dan. They're here somewhere. They might be just bunkered down a little bit. 5'8" Kieran, 4 from 4. This is his easiest conversion for the day. Right before half-time, adds the extra 2 points. And the Bulldogs dominant this first half. Looking very good with footy. You'd be surprised when you look at it. It often happens in this competition. You see where they are on the table, and it's no indication of the footy they can produce.
No, it's not. It comes down to a bit of belief and a bit of possession, that's for sure. The amount of tries they've scored down here, I don't know how they're going to... haven't got much on the bench which they can change, but it's a big halftime address coming up from Coach Larry.
That's half-time. The Bulldogs 30 lead the Newcastle Knights 6 here at Hunter Stadium. Second half action underway now as Nick Meaney kicks off. And the Bulldogs will have first possession. Oh, good contact from the Knights defensive line. Able to keep the Bulldogs within the 20-metre line. Very impressive first half by the Dogs with ball in hand. Danny Badera speaking about the fact the Knights, and they'd try and block out that scoreboard and just get some of their basic fundamentals right. Here's the Dogs against the grain again. Might be a penalty here. Oh, no, the Knights, they've said play on. Casey Badger, the referee, saying wasn't a head eye and go back and play the foot. Doesn't he ever crack Joey?
He loves it, Joey.
Montana. He's been a really good addition back from suspension into the starting side today.
Yeah, he has. He's, I was saying that the two nines are the same sort of physiques and played a little bit the same. But you can see that obviously the halftime address was spoken about line speed from Todd Lowry, and the first couple are okay, but they consistently need to do a lot more.
They sure do, and now it's the Bulldogs over the halfway line on the 5th tackle. Slow play the ball there too. It would have been the coach killer for Todd Lowry if they'd given away the penalty. Here's a great kick from the 5'8". Beautiful in goal, and now Meaney under some pressure. Some good escorting done there by the Knights winger as well to help fullback Nick Meaney out.
That's how you play wet weather footy, Frankie. That left foot of Kieran's is fantastic. It's working well today, and it's getting backed up by some real good defensive energy.
He's got a bit of Aiden Caesar about him, who of course comes through the Bulldogs junior ranks. Just got that time with the football on the left foot that puts the ball on the space where it needs to be. He needs to be a lot busier in the second half. Eddie Tuilotalava had a quiet first half.
Yeah, Eddie needs a bit more possession. Obviously, his game is about to attack, but he needs to switch it around a bit. It needs to be a bit more defensive orientated.
This bloke will roll his sleeves up all day. Sam Stone with the football on the 5th. Another tough set for the Knights. Jack Cogger with the football. Once again, he's under some pressure. He's kicking the ball very shallow and very much at the defensive line. He had 2 kicks charged down the first half, and that one looked more like your driver off the deck.
Yeah, not good, that kick from Jack. They need to come up with another option on the other side of the ruck. Maybe Newman needs to take control and have a couple of kicks and take a bit more pressure off Cogger. So even get Tommy Starling, he's got that right foot as well. So just need to change it up around that play 5.
Really difficult for young blokes to go up to NRL. He's only 18, we forget sometimes, and then come back to this grade because all the focus and all the pressure goes back to the playmaker.
Yeah, you've seen it time and time again. Guys that play or finish up in the back end of the season in first grade come back and play 20s and don't have a good September. You think you're going to win the competition, but they just don't perform.
He's a superstar in the making, Jack Cogger, and I'm sure if you're backing a racehorse, you'd be backing him. Here's another great charge by Ockenbaugh. Big and strong, able to stand on his feet, which means a pretty quick play the ball, and they've shifted it quickly to the centre field as well. And Kalachi now with the footy. Good field position for the Dogs to go on the attack. 32 metres out centre field, shifting to that edge that's brought them so much success in the first half. Miller, who already has a double.
Got to feel confident, haven't they?
Got it. Go on there, and you'd be silly not to go back to where it's paid dividends before. 5th tackle, centre field. They go down that short side in the 5'8" once again. This time he's decided to run it. Manu, flick pass out the back. He's had a bit of everything. Just pushed it a little bit too far this time, the Bulldogs. And a turnover 10 metres out.
Yeah, you probably see a little bit more of that. The Bulldogs playing a little bit more free-flowing footy. There's nothing wrong with running it on play 5, but I guess you don't want to be frivolous at the same time.
That was very classy. Once again, Dan, you've been impressed with Manu.
Yes, I have. He's got the ability. He looks like a proper footy player. He doesn't look too robotic. He's got a few things going for him, that's for sure, Frank.
No doubt about it. Then Anderson will be looking to get that football to that left-hand side. And Todd Lowry will be hoping the right-hand side in defence will be better in the second half. Here's Sam Stone. Good charge, but a great tackle too. Speed of the line was quick by the Bulldogs, and it looked like it was Missanali that come up with the hit.
Bulldogs boys are having fun, Frank. They're having fun, and there's nothing worse than knowing when you're under pressure on the scoreboard, and you're coming up with errors like that. They can just line up and tee off on them now, the Bulldogs boys, and have a bit of fun.
Penny Missanali certainly lined up. That was great tackle tech, hit on the ball, spot on, copybook almost. Trevor Gilmeister like.
None better than the Axe.
The Axe, he's probably listening in up there in Brisbane today. Now the Dogs are on the attack. They set up to the right-hand side. We've seen plenty of sequence sets for them. Interesting to see what they do from a scrum restart.
They'll go to the post, Frank, and have a go at this. Get that left edge involved.
Look at Kerr. He backs himself very quickly up into the defensive line, and he plays it only a metre out. Here's going to the post that Denny spoke about. Speed of the line from the Knights was good and pushed them back to the short side. Led there by Joey Morris. Now they play it a couple of metres out, going centre field. Knights speed of the line, quick up, much better up in this second half.
They've just laid the line there, and here we go.
Kalachia was still coming up with some attack for
They're
the
short
Bulldogs.
down that right edge, Newcastle.
Once again, just some discipline around the ruck. There's a lot of conversation about whether that's a good or a bad thing to do these days, to take the penalty.
I'm over it, Frank. It's just way too many penalties being given in all grades around that field, the part of the field. And whether or not the referees need to get that 10 minutes in the bin out would be nice and handy.
Good suggestion by Dan Medeiros. Ashcroft now plays the ball a couple of metres out. Will Kerr with the ball to Ockenbar. Big and strong, but the Knights have got big numbers to him as well. Look at that hair. There's sparrows flying out of it. Now the ball goes centre field. A little bit disjointed here for the Bulldogs. And the Knights' defensive line up quickly off the line, something that Todd Lowry must have addressed at half-time. They go to the left-hand side, and the 5'8" and Kieran, who's been key for them. Now the Knights' defence are rolling their sleeves up. And Missanali getting some of his own medicine, pushed backwards 10 metres. Out the back, across the back of the ruck. Here's some good ball movement from the Bulldogs, moving it to the right-hand side. Tried to force the pass as well, Jack Gleeson. Much better edge for the Knights defensively on their left-hand side.
A lot better. The Dogs didn't want to go to that potent left edge of theirs. They tried to go over to the right edge, which is fair enough. Get the guys involved over here on the right, which haven't had too much ball. So Kerr's obviously a number 9, and he's taking a bit more control in this second half and getting this right edge of the Bulldogs involved. Good
defence there by Braden Musgrave. Now, that's a key position that Nathan Brown's spoken a little bit about. You can see he's a big body, a good shape, moving forward for the Knights.
Yeah, Corey Dennis is the other one. Corey Dennis, Braden Musgrave, they're two that the body shapes going forward the Newcastle Knights would like to have on their edges. And at the moment, we're not a tall team as such out in those edge positions. Nathan Ross has got a good jump on him, but and Brendan Elliott can catch really well as well. But as far as a big body, we haven't got too many, and they're the ones we want to bring through the grades.
And that's what Braden Musgrave is. Corey Dennis out suspended at the moment. Another key factor for Toddy Lowry, there's something like 11 or 12 players either suspended, injured, or moved up the grades, which has a cascading effect on the Knights selection process, or players available. Here's Stone stepping back inside and making some good hard meters once again for the Knights.
Just a bit of footwork at the line, Frank. That's all you need.
In fact, that was Tanoa Brown this time that come up with a great footwork. Here's a good kick under pressure. Unfortunately, got the kick away well, but it went down the throat of Bergerman, who positions himself well and does counter-attack. The referee said, not held, so play on. Jack Cogger eventually gets a hold of him and bulldogs him to the ground. Going back centre field now, the Bulldogs. Tanoa Brown's another key for the Knights in attack. Needs to get his hand on the footy and trying to roll his sleeves up. Him and Sam Stone. A little Captain Cook there. A little look, I think, from Strickland.
Line speed from Starling.
Yeah, good pressure from Starling once again. Starling and Morris are going to be the ones that give the energy for the Knights.
Yeah, here we go. They get the Newcastle Knights will get a chance of a good ball and see what they can come up with. I'm sure they want to get Meaney involved here. But good playing on from Jack Cogger up the speed of the tempo of the game.
Good kick as well, and it was Morris who created that energy. That was the penalty, and now the Knights have got some better field position. They probably need to get on with it a little bit more. We would have loved to have seen Eddie Tuilatalava there charge onto that footy as the tap was taken. Eventually he plays the ball 20 metres out. Knight set up to the left-hand side. Cogger moved the ball quickly, centre field now, back inside to Musgrave. You can see he takes a ton of pulling down. Limited opportunities with football. This time he's got it 10 metres out. Slow play the ball, trying to get a penalty, turning the ball back inside to Tanoa Brown, who's only 5 metres out centre field. Set up on both sides. This time it's a double second man to Cogger. Move the ball quickly to the right-hand edge for Gibbs, and Gibbs too big and too strong. That quick movement of football gave him an opportunity as they point to the spot, and the Knights returns with some points.
Yeah, they finally went wide off a good play the ball in the middle of the field. So they chewed a few numbers up from the Bulldogs there and got them to congregate around the centre of the field, and a nice pass from Cogger. And as always, you just need to give players one-on-one. Sometimes you need to come up, think you need to create all the time, but in this weather especially, just give the ball early and see what they can come with. A bit of footwork, inside shoulder, outside shoulder, and away they go.
Sure do, and now the Knights, they'll be looking to keep the game going fairly quickly, because obviously with the scoreboard against them, they'll want to take every opportunity they can to put points on the board. Yeah,
you'd say 20 points to finish off the game would be enough for the Bulldogs, but it's the 20s competition. It goes in concentration and ebbs and flows. So I'm sure if Newcastle can complete this set, get down with a good kick, and hopefully tee off on the Bulldogs boys with a couple of good line speed shots and hopefully force an error.
Nick Newman is 1 from 1 today. I think it's his first time he's kicked in this grade as well, as we've seen there on the scoreboard. Got a tough kick, 25 metres out and a couple in tough conditions. Drags it across the front, so the scoreboard will remain Bulldogs 30 over the Knights 10. You can see that the Bulldogs now just needing some fresh legs, because the Knights have been the one with the energy the last couple of minutes.
As you'd expect, from the Bulldogs, they would have been sitting in there in their dressing room saying the Knights are going to come out and throw everything at them, because they would have got a bit of a rev up at half-time. So they've weathered the storm as such, and obviously there's been a try there, and they need a good period here, the Bulldogs, to put this game to bed.
And an interesting interchange as well. We've seen one of the real workhorses for the Bulldogs, Mario El Bossatani.
Yeah, he works hard, El Bossatani.
The poor old Joey Morris has come up with a mistake from the kickoff. I'm not sure if he got a little ahead of himself, or it is difficult conditions out there, and the ball was right up in the breeze in the conditions, and unfortunately he laid an egg in the end. It went straight through in one side and out the other.
Yeah, frustration from Todd Lowry. You're sitting up there thinking you might get back in the game, but that's a big momentum killer as well, Frank.
Absolutely. One of the great names, Mario El Bossatani.
Fantastic. He works hard. I guess he's like the player that everyone wants to play with. I've watched him a few times now, El Bossatani. So he's well regarded there in the under-20 system.
The ball breaking from the scrum there was a little bit messy, but good patience shown there by Joey Tramontana, who plays the ball now 10 metres out. Bulldogs have been putting the blowtorch to the Knights. They go back to that left-hand edge, which has seen so much success for the Dogs. This time Jack Cogger's on top of him, knocks him over a couple of metres out. They come back centre field. Strickland's had lots of touches with the football. Commands attention from 3 Knights defenders. Right next to the left-hand upright, a metre out. The ball back now. Here's Kerr, moves it quick. There's space for the Dogs again. Selection of pass was great from the fullback. Can the Knights hold him up in the in-goal? The winger in Simonson trying to get the footy down. Casey Badger in great position, saying that he was held up there. Knights did a good job to scramble over there, Dean.
Yeah, nice pass from Bergerman as well. Nice and flat and out in front. Gave his winger every chance to get that ball down, but nice scramble from the Knights.
Now the Bulldogs have to reset, and here's El Bossatane with the footy. Pumping the legs. Fresh on the footy field. 5th tackle, 10 metres out. You just hear the Dogs run it to the left or go for the kick. They're going to run it and chance their hand to the left. Good play too, and the ball shifted quickly to the other edge, and the winger on the far side, Finau now. He'll get a double as well. There's 2 doubles on that left-hand edge. Miller and Finau, one sideline to the other sideline, comes up with a great result for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, well done to the Bulldogs halves. Getting the ball into the right people's hands and really asking some questions of the Knights' defence.
We're seeing the winger on the right-hand side for the Bulldogs held up in Simonson. And they take one to the middle, as you've said before, Dan. They reset to the middle move, shift it quickly to the right-hand side. What about the skills of Miller? Showed it to the inside, face ball to the edge, pinpoint accurate. stretch the numbers for the Knights defensively on both edges.
Yeah, it's the talking point of view from, you know, Gibbs and Sopolola. Sopolola was coming in and Gibbs was sliding out. So just need to be on the same page. You know, I guess if he was going to slide out, Gibbs was, Sopolola needed to do the same thing, and he might have put the try scorer over in the corner there.
They've scored some tries, 2 doubles on that left-hand edge in attack for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, they have. Finau now, you've been waiting to call that, haven't you?
You're too good for me, Dan. I wasn't even ready for that.
No, it's they've, like I said, they've put the balls in the right people's hands. They've got some real potent attack by the looks of today, and hasn't been on display, I guess, for most of the year, but they're pretty comfortable out there today.
Speaking of comfortable, what about the 5'8" and Adam Kieran? He's 5 from 5. He's been able to work it beautifully from the other end sideline. Be interesting to see how he goes here, because a left footer, a little bit more difficult there, but I think the breeze will play a bit of a factor as we see it just starting to pick up here at Hunter Stadium.
If he kicks this is his hardest kick of the day, because it narrows down the angle, because the breeze is blowing from right to left. And it's easy to slice one in, but it's very hard to hook one in from this point of view.
Bit of a kicking masterclass here from Dan Badeiros as well.
I've got a pop gun as a kick, mate.
It'll be interesting to see if he can do that. Pop gun, you reckon? Here we go. How good is he? Started it flat. Oh, it just moved. That was that angle you spoke about.
Yeah, he had to try and kick it flat and keep it out of the breeze. And that was a fair attempt. He's a pretty astute player.
Gee, they've been good for them, these wingers. The Bulldogs, they've had every opportunity they've been given, they've capitalised and taken full advantage.
Stay on side.
Yeah, they've scored some points out wide, Frank. It's you wouldn't think so in this sort of weather, but there's a fair rap to the forwards into their halves as well, because they're getting forward from it.
Absolutely, and now it's the Bulldogs who've been pretty accustomed to this today, bringing off their own line. 15 minutes into the second half, leading 34 points to 10, and it's been the workhorses who've laid that platform, and Strickland has been one of the keys for the Dogs.
Yeah, got tipped up on him at the start of the game, and he definitely hasn't disappointed. And you got Miller and more of it, but he's been good too.
Speaking of good, Ockenball, how good is he? He's a handful, and Will Kerr just sniffing around the back of him, making plenty of yards. Now they move at centre field, back to that left edge that's been so good for them. Cogger onto Miller this time and drags him down just over the halfway line. Some good go forward here from the Bulldogs, and Ashcroft, who started at lock today and taken every advantage. Kieran with the football. Is that a drop kick? Well, that's a shank. He's kicked that nearly to Swansea.
That's not a good kick. That's what that one is. It's a 7-tackle set. He tried to come up with something different. He's obviously got a tip up from someone here on the right edge that was going to come through on a kick chase for him, but just struck a little bit too hard.
Because when I first looked at it, I thought maybe he's had a crack at a drop goal, which I thought was surprising, but we've all got one of those in our kit bag, and now the Knights get an opportunity to try and use those 7 tackles to get down the other end, and Tanoa Brown chopped down. And here's the lookalike in Sam Stone. They look very much alike, those two, big, long and lean. Here's Tanoa Brown back in running a decoy. Morris shift the ball quickly to Cogger. And we're seeing young Zach Hosking on the field, son of the Mule.
The great Mule, yes. He's a goer too, young Zach.
He's back to the mark.
Tell you what he has been able to do. He's been able to create some facial cuts. He's had some claret coming out of the head. Here's a much better kick from Cogger, going to the line and putting it in the in goal, able to get it to sit too. And the fullback slipped over in the in goal. Bergerman come up with a mistake. Here's an opportunity for the Knights.
For all our young players out there, it just shows you how good it is to have a good kicking game, and you need to get down to that park and practice your kicks, because that's what the game's about this day. As you can tell, it forces so much pressure on the other team if you've got a good kick.
That looked like you on the ice skates then, Dan. In the in goal. And in the first half...
On the dance floor?
That too. I'm sure you've done that plenty of times on the dance floor. Here's the Knights with an opportunity with a repeat set of 6. You'd like to think they could get some ball to Meany. Jack Cogger's got to come into the game here. Now they'll play the ball 28 metres out. They come into the short side, the Knights. They've moved to the left-hand edge. I thought they may have gone to the post to set up on both sides. Looks like they got a set-up set here. You got Meany out the back. Morris now gets the ball away to Cogger. Cogger back inside to the centre, and Gibbs, who has had some success on the outside, but the Bulldogs' numbers were big in defence back on the inside. Now they come to the left-hand side. Back inside to Tanoa Brown. And the Altona Rooster Jr. plays it only a metre out. Knights come to the short. It's a flat pass to the big front rower. Butterfield's crashed his way over here, Dan Medeiros.
Yeah, that play when they turned Gibbs inside, it was never going to work because it was too far over. You need to do that play closer to the post. But if anything, they just showed you how they're going to get back into the game. And that's just by good footwork and little options around the ruck. And that's all you need in this sort of weather.
Pretty poor defence by the Dogs. They didn't get off their own line. Good, tenacious run by the front rower in Butterfield, who just purely through bash and bar just come up with the points.
Yeah, they're disappointed that as that effort there. Bit of concentration.
The Knights bouncing back now. They'll need plenty more of those quick points. Doesn't the big front rowers love a charge over? Look at him strolling back there, Butterfield. He's pretty pleased with that, Dan.
Yeah, the nephew of the great Tony Butterfield. So it's so good to watch the next generation of players coming through. They're all around in our great game in and around the clubs. So hopefully they can all go through and have good first-grade careers.
Here's Nick Newman. He's sliced it straight to the left-hand side. He needs to go to the Danny Medeiros kicking school there. Nick Newman, unfortunately, started to the left and it kept going. That is a key point for the Knights. They love the tradition of bringing names through that have been here in the past, and none better than Tony Butterfield.
I think all clubs do. All clubs love to see the next generation coming through. And I know in another sport, they're salary cap exempt. If you can bring through the same name, that's a relation. So that'd be good if we could do that.
A bit of father and son rules there. We're seeing it now coming through in Origin with Adrian Lamb's young fella playing for Queensland despite being in Sydney after Adrian come down and played for the Roosters. So maybe there can be some concessions there moving forward. Good defence by the Bulldogs. Another great kick-off, and the Knights are trapped in their own end. And look at the Dogs swarming in. Push backwards once again. There's some fresh legs on there for the Dogs as well. Tia has been the real enforcer for them. Back on the field, gives them some energy.
Yeah, they've got a lot of good energy about them, obviously, from the point of view of the scoreboard. But the middles that they've brought on, they're all wanted to be here today, and they've all played really well.
Tommy Starling then just got hit by Mac Truck. It was the big fella in Ockenball. Here's the Knights will get away a good kick as well. He got good purchase on the footy, but once again, these Bulldogs back three, the wingers and the fullback position themselves well. And Finau, the double try scorer for the afternoon, charged back into the defensive line with plenty of venom.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing a bit more of Manu. Pretty sure the ball will get out of him pretty soon.
Yeah, he was dynamic in the first half for the Bulldogs. Both the wingers doing a good job to lay the platform, and now it's El Bossatane with the footy. Bulldogs in good field position. Once again, this time he might be getting up with a bit of a leg injury there. Really struggling to get to his feet, Mario. In the meantime, the Dogs have charged forward again into the Knights' defensive line with a good run by Tia. Now they move it to the left. They've had so much success. Beautiful ball from the fullback by Bergerman, and the Knights this time come up in a defensive line together and knock him over. Fifth tackle. Will they run it or will they kick to the in goal? The kick's bending back towards, and good patience by the Knights there with Braden Musgrave. Waited for the ball to roll dead in goal, and a big difference with the 7 tackles in this set.
Yeah, just got his angles wrong. That's a hard kick for a left footer to try, and he had it shaped right. It just didn't come around for him. So he understands what he's got to do, Kieran. So that's a sign of a good player. Just didn't come around for him.
Yeah, last couple of kicks, I reckon he'd like his time again. Maybe just trying to get a little bit too creative. But to be fair, he's been so good. And his options prior to the last 2 kicks have been very good. So from a balance sheet perspective, he's been very good. Now the Knights really battling off their own end again. This time Joey Morris trying to play some footy. Cogger was left stranded one-on-one. There's your man. He's good with the footy. He's good defensively as well, the centre for the Bulldogs. Manu coming out of the line and putting the pressure in. Here's a bit of space for Hosking, able to get through and an offload as well. Back on the inside to Tommy Starling. Beats the fullback. Back inside once again. Great footwork from the little hooker. Nearly come up with a miraculous try and then gets the penalty.
What was the reason for that?
On the jersey.
What do you think about that break, mate? What happened there? It's because of a change of angles. So that's the whole game, name of the game at the moment is changing of angles and just supporting the ball runner.
Yeah, you can see the Knights players there. They probably had a fair case to ask why that they didn't get a professional foul and player in the bin. You can see when they play with some up-tempo, either team, they come up with points. Now Butterfield, the try scorer, plays it a couple of metres short of the line. Here's some space on the left-hand edge. Great awareness there by the Bulldogs. Gleeson it was, who knew he had to come up quickly and snuff it out. Now they go centre field. Cogger moves it quickly onto Hosking, who's really good with the footy in his hand. And
yeah, he's got a bit of footwork about him. So that's where Meany's got to hang around. He's just got to hang around those guys that have got a bit of footwork about him.
now Cogger with the football, stepping back inside. Big numbers from the Dogs. Every time he gets the ball, Jack Cogger, understandably, he's got big numbers. Here's an intercept by the big fella, Ockenbaugh. He put himself out there. Pretty hard to go around him, to be honest. And the turnover, once again, the Knights just really pushing their hand, trying to come up with that desperation of scoreboard pressure is playing a factor.
Yeah, just getting a little +1 and then just dropping someone under you with a bit of support would be handy out there. But and coming up with these sort of set plays, which probably aren't going to work. The Bulldogs are coming up and in their defence, and it's pretty setting a good example for them all out there.
It's women in league round here. That's a flat pass there by the Dogs. Good at the advantage line by Tia. Dangerous off your own end, though, and they've been happy to really chance their hand today, the Bulldogs. They get a good kick away. It is women in league round, Dan, and you've got some amazing women in. As we just wait here, because Nick Meany's made some space. Finally, we're seeing Meany into some real open territory. Good tackle there by the 5'8". In Kieran eventually drags him down. On the back of that, the Knights aren't able to really capitalise. The Soper Lawler is dragged down from the markers. They need to shift the footy around a bit. Cogger with the desperate pass, pushed it onto Tanoa Brown, and a little bit of frustration there by Jack, just trying to create something.
Yeah, he's playing with a bit of red mist at the moment. Is Jack. He's frustrated. You know, you just got to keep it simple. The more you can get the other team to tackle you, the better off you are. And there's a spill there from the Bulldogs.
That might have been the first touch for James Clark as well, and another one who's been sitting there on the bench waiting for the opportunity to get on, and your first touch is always a difficult one, especially in these conditions. And it was a good shot too by Butterfield. That tackle in the wet conditions on the football often will come up with a turnover.
Yeah, that's exactly where you should be aiming, just under the ribs there, the footy where people carry it. And it really tests out their grip and their ball carry.
Yeah, the big fella Ockenbaugh, after the intercept, he thought, well, I'm a bit sore after there. Looks like he's got a bit of a limp there as well, and put some fresh legs on the footy field for them. Now the Knights move it across field. Can they come able to stand on his feet? So a pretty quick play the ball. Hosking on the back of that now. Up into the defensive line of the Bulldogs quickly. And he'll play it on the second tackle, 30 metres out. Starling, creative all day. Flat pass to Tyrone Amy.
Just drop Stone underneath. Newman should just come across and drop Stone underneath.
Here's a ball. Here's Butterfield. He wants a double for the afternoon. The big, great play the ball. Starling's able to capitalise on that. Thought it might have been a penalty. Offload the footy to Tyrone Amy, who's over the line, and he gets it down. Referee Casey Badger is in perfect position, points to the spot. Now the Knights have got a bit of momentum.
Yeah, all the wingers and outside backs are scoring the tries for the Bulldogs. Have been great all day, but you know, it's the opposite for the Newcastle boys. All the middlemen seem to be crossing the try, so there's something in that. Just got to keep going around the middle of the field and changing angles, and they'll get a few more tries.
Good little exchange in passes. Butterfield put a dent in them. Starling quick out of dummy half, and Tyrone Amy pushing up. He does like the try line, the big fella. He got a try last week and another one this week, and the 2 is added by the Knights. 34 points to 20. All right, 13 and a half minutes to go. Can the Knights do it from here, Dan?
Would have been nice if one more of those goals that Nick Newman should have kicked went over, but 14 points. I guess 12 would have been a chance, but yeah, it's a tough one, mate. I think Newcastle got the momentum, that's for sure, but I think they might fall just a little short.
Looking at the big Women in League sign there on the halfway line, you've got some amazing women in your backyard. It's a couple of Chris's have been particularly good for you.
Yeah, my mum and obviously my wife, but my mum used to coach me in under-8s, Frank, back in Taree.
Wow.
Tape up the fingernails and out she went, and we had some good fun back then, but she's always been involved in the game and forever come down to watch me, so she's just one of many a mum out there who's been fantastic for their child to hopefully be able to dream.
One of the first mothers to be put on a media ban during the Origin period as well.
I put on many a media ban, my mum.
Good on you, Chris. And my mum Gay's listening in Warwick today, who's been a little bit unwell of late, so I'm sure she's enjoying Bundaberg's Super Saturday with Women in League round. Knights looking much better with the football now. There's some space in that right-hand side, and Cogger's going to play at the back to Meany, who needs space, and he beats that first tackle. He beat 7 tackles last week. Remembering the Knights were comprehensively beaten, and he ran for over 150 metres as well. He needs more footy if the Knights are going to come into the back end of this game. With 12 minutes to go, trailing by 14 points. Tyrone Amy with the footy. Back to Joey Morris, who went to put a kick up. It's not a lot of pressure on the fullback Bergman. They're going to need to come up with better options than that on the 15.
For sure, Frank. Into the corner would be a good start, and you can just really press up. But when you go in the middle of the field, like an easy turnover like that, it's...
Here's a turnover. You speak about it, Dan, and it's one comes straight away. Double knock on here with Gibbs also knocking the football on. All right, what do the Knights do here? It's a scrum restart, 15 metres out.
A few errors in possession for the Bulldogs of late, so that's why the Newcastle Knights are getting back into the game, just on the back of the errors of the Bulldogs. So
we're all here.
You just got to keep coming, changing angles around the middle third of the field, Frank, for mine.
Not hard to see which way the Knights will go and attack here. They've got no one 20 metres on the other side of the park. So the winger in Sopalola comes in, and they're going to have a little setup, little trick shot play here. Unfortunately, the ball knocked backwards there for the Knights. Meany's picked it up and backed himself. He'll be hard to stop from here. Bulldogs come in numbers to finally drag him down. They've got to get more early ball to Nick Meany. Now they go on the attack. Starling, flat pass back on the inside. It was a good run and a good tackle as well by the Bulldogs. That fullback in Bergman come up with a try-saving tackle. Cogger now with the football. Moves it quickly to Meany. Meany with a faith pass out to Sopalola. Backing himself one-on-one. He's a try-scoring machine. Reached out to put the footy down. Knock on, they're saying. In fact, it's the other winger in... Out of the two, there's only 50% chance, and I've got them wrong. The same headgear, I thought it was Bailey Jenkins this time, who went close to getting the footy out. The temptation was there to reach and put the footy out. Yeah,
the temptation to get his team back in the contest. They're in the contest, but to get them closer to that 34 points that the Bulldogs have got. But would have been nice to see them play out that set, but not to be. So they need to have a good defence out here.
Can you have a chat to Todd Lowry next week and ask his wingers to wear different headgear for me?
Well, Toddy was a headgear wearer. He bought in about 20 for Sione Matautia during the week that he used to wear. So
did he?
He's got thousands.
Now, I want to ask you about that. Sione Matautia has got the jaw injury, and he's been wearing the headgear before he did the injury as well.
Yeah, he's opted, when he was a kid, he used to wear the headgear, and all of a sudden he wants to go back to those days. He plays like he needs a headgear. He's very physical. So it'd be good to get him back next week.
Another one that we forget, so young already. His progression through has been quick. He's still well and truly eligible for under 20s. Here's a good run from Simonson for the Bulldogs. And they're over the halfway line. El Bossatana, he's overcome that leg injury that he had earlier. He'll play it on the fifth tackle, 45 out from the Knights line. Good kick once again from Adam Kieran, who's had great directional play and great presence and awareness of where to be on the football field with the ball, and also where he kicks the footy too.
Yeah, he's got a good idea about the game. He's got that time, which is, as you know, all good players have. So, but just a little 1%. Like a bit of Joey Morris kick pressure there changed the way that kick was shaped. So that's what you need to do in wet weather. Just really tighten up on the 1%ers. Sopalola.
This time we've got Sopalola, and he can run and can score a try. Maybe he's the one who can bring the Knights back into it with 9 minutes to go. They'll need some quick tries and a quick play the ball on the back of that break. Now Starling with the football. Out the back, some space. Cogger it was, who frustratingly once again for him, he had the good tip on play and just knocked down.
Why do you need to put a block play in there? Just get the ball in your hands as quick as you can. And try and beat them with a bit of one-on-one footwork.
So instead of that second man play out the back, you
stay there, hold your position.
I think everyone seems to just fall into that shape all the time, where you can just pass it straight to someone's hands and get the ball in their hands early and see what they can do.
Just looking to the Bulldogs look to have done a head injury assessment change there. They might have got a head knock. I've seen that some discussion down on the sideline as the Bulldogs players saying, just sit down and give us a bit of a breather.
Just hold your positions.
Gamesmanship.
Joe, you need to get that fixed up, mate. I need some water. I need it cleaned up.
You can hear the referee, Drew Outram, saying to Joey, the hooker there, Tramontana, you need to get that fixed up. And he said to the referee, no, I don't. I think you do, Joey.
He's having a day out, Joey. He's enjoying himself.
He's not enjoying that orange trainer there.
Joseph, you've got to go at the back.
Into his nose hairs, Frank, maybe pull one of them out.
And you can some great interchange here with the referee and the players. He said, my name's Joey, so he's having to update the referee on the name. Referee even said, well, that's on the team sheet, so Plenty of great banter out there for our great sound effect Mike's picking it all up there too. The Knights are the ones who need the footy in and out quickly. Starling trying to create something, and he had some numbers on the outside too. If he just could have got the footy away. In the end, Manu wrestles him to the ground. Knights centre field.
There you go.
Bit better footy there, Dan. A little bit more space. And now they play the ball 20 metres out. Cogger with ball in hand, out the back to Meany. Good defence from Will Kerr. Meany's still on he's such a strong bloke with that physique's going to grow beautifully into an NRL player of the future. Now Tyrone Amy with the football. As Dan Badera said earlier, they've had such good success with their big boys around the rucks, and Amy's only a couple of metres short. Out the back to Cogger, had to go to his knees to pick it up. Starling scheming across field, attracting numbers, and then step back inside, and 5'8" and Adam Kieran was able to come up with a good tackle on Gibbs to knock him over. Fifth tackle, Cogger with the football, trying to thread the needle through. Kicks the ball and bending it back to his runners coming through. It was a good kick. Kick chase is good, and they'll trap him back in the end goal. The Knights will get a repeat set of 6 here, but need points quickly.
Yeah, they need points, but that's the next best option, obviously. I tell you that the kick to Soper Lawler out here is an option. He loves the ball in the air. So maybe at the end of the set, if they need to come up with the points, they need to kick it out to that wing of Soper Lawler.
Only the brave and the hardy are here this early. We're seeing some really stoic fans up in the hills braving these conditions, which are...
They've been fantastic, the fans, this year for the Newcastle Knights. They've just stood by the team, and yeah, she's only the trusty out here today.
Soper Lawler now with the football, always putting challenges to the defensive line, and Meany was more than happy to give him a chance on the first play. Now Stone with the football, stepping back inside, using that footwork that Danny Badera spoke about before, which means the defensive line has to wrestle hard. Look at the ground he's been able to make. He's only half a metre out. And he's pulled some Bulldogs defenders in. If the Knights can shift the footy, Morris trying to back backwards to get that footy to Cogger. Bulldogs are able to wrap him up 8 metres out. Cogger wants the football and gets it. Plays out to Starling. Starling got smashed by Manu. Play on, the referee said. Dan Badera, you've been looking for him to get the football, Kiko Manu, but he's been fantastic in defence as well.
Yeah, that's shown as the other side of the game, which every defensive centre needs, is a good bit of contact. And Manu obviously displayed that. He understands what he needs to do and come up and in. And as those Bulldogs do at a young age, they get taught how to defend on the edges and come up and in, and that's no different to Manu. So.
And you see that there in the replay box. He was really, when you make that decision, you've got to get it right. And now a little bit of ill discipline from the Knights, and Casey Badger, the pocket, sitting in the pocket this time saying, no, I don't need the feedback, thanks, boys, and advances it downfield. And that's just a frustration level now for the Knights.
Yeah, they had a time down there where they should have probably come away with a try, but they didn't, to keep the game alive. So they're probably known that they probably can't win from now on. They need to finish off, though. Look forward to next week.
Absolutely. I'm sure Todd Lowry will be wanting them to defend their own line. And Bulldogs coach Ben Anderson will be wanting to come up with some points as Tyrone Amy pulling out of the line, a sniper, trying to come up with a big hit, and the Bulldogs are able to avoid that and now go downfield. Now Clark's with a much better second touch. Plays at centre field 10 metres out. Back against the grain now, which we've seen them do all day.
Got to give him a rap, Frank. Tia has
been amazing, hasn't he?
He's been great.
Well, he's a beautiful face pass. Clark has gone close and he's knocked the footy on. You can see some frustrations from the Dogs out wide. They had big space and numbers over the Knights defensively, with big numbers in attack over the Knights defence.
Yeah, the possession and the completion rate from the Dogs in the first half was 17 from 18, and that's the only thing that's keeping the Newcastle Knights in the ball game at the moment, is their error rate while in possession of the ball. So
good contact once again by Butterfield. It was a much needed tackle and he hit right on the footy in these wet conditions that you spoke about before.
Yeah, they'll be important coming into the grades and later in the afternoon. I don't think this rain, it's just annoying, the rain at the moment. So I think it's going to stick around for most of the day.
Will you be in the coach's box or on the sideline, the NRL?
Oh, I don't know, mate. I don't know. Draw straws on that one.
I'm back and you'll be in the coach's box, Danny Badera. Now the Knights have seen some space and promoted the football downfield. Musgrave probably need a little bit more footy this afternoon. Cogger now scheming across field, moving it quickly to the tram lines. Once again, that up and in defence that's right across the grades of the Dogs, and Finau comes up with a good defence. Good defence to knock the Knights over.
You're not going to play around the Dogs, Frank. You're not going to play around them in all grades. You've got to work out how you can get through them.
Now the Knights centre field play it with Cameron King. Back to the right-hand side. Cogger with the footy. Beautiful pass. One of the real assets that he has. Unfortunately, he's been limited today, but Gibbs will play it on the 5th. Now Joey Morris puts a little kick in behind. Once again, it's a penalty coming. Drew Outram's called. The pocket referee called that the referee, Joey Morris, was taken out after he put a kick in behind.
Leave it alone. No, don't go to him. Don't go to him. We've got a penalty up here.
Really takes control, Casey, which is good to see, isn't it?
We've seen a wonderful piece with Sterlo during the week of Casey Badger, who's really progressed into this position so well.
It won't be long until we see them in the NRL, the girls, that's for sure.
We'll have a little look at that after the break as well, Casey Badger's piece with Sterlo, and you've seen there her dominance in the footy field, mean that the Knights could get on with it. And with 3 minutes to go, they needed to get on. Here's Meaney with the football, out to Sopalala, can score a try, slams it down. Too little, too late, but we're seeing the key for the Knights. Meaney, Sopalala, they're the ones in attack that can create for the Knights.
Yeah, absolutely. He come up with the right play, the Bulldogs winger, but just couldn't make it stick on contact.
Meaney with great skill. He's got beautiful balance, Nick Meaney.
He has, mate. He, as you see today, he probably racked up over 100 metres for sure, probably nearly 150, 160, what he's been averaging for most of the season. So he's a future. He's only done one pre-season as probably a professional. He'll probably train in the full-time squad next year, which is Nick Meaney, and the weight and the amount of what it does for their body is fantastic. So most young kids are probably 3 seasons away from having a good, consistent year on the back of 3 pre-seasons. So he'll go into his next one pretty soon.
I love the commentary there. You can hear in the background just the mics there. Benny Farrer, who's running the blue shirt for the Knights, he's called a good kick. We thought it was over. Even Casey Badger let out a sigh. Poor old Knights. Nick Newman was the latest one to just couldn't get any luck today.
Yeah, they've missed a couple of kicks where Kieran on the opposite has flushed all his kicks, especially out here on this left sideline.
Absolutely, it has. It's a big upset by the Bulldogs because the Knights, it's a key loss for them because they're right on the edge of that 8. Now they're going to chance their hand, moving from one sideline to the other pretty quickly. They look good when they shift the footy around the Knights.
Yeah, they do. It is a disappointing performance from the Knights. You know, they've probably come home strong in this back half, but you need to start well. Your season's on the line, so they'll be disappointed.
He could have easily got a penalty there, Sopalala, who's put himself into the game. Here's a little kick from the Knights over the top. Can they come up with something? Braden Musgrave's got the football. Comes to the fullback. He'll kick to the inside. And here comes the Knights' numbers. Can they get it? Oh, the bounce of the football for the Knights. It just hasn't been there today. Nick Meaney's got in the in goal. And he's been held up. Oh, you would have thought for all money the Knights were going to get a bounce. The great kick back in the side from Musgrave. And
yeah, really good centre play from Musgrave. He's a left-hand carrier, right centre, and he's got a left foot kick. So that's a good attribute to have going forward for him.
Oh, no. Coggers then tried to kick it across field. There was open spaces for the other winger on the other side in Jenkins. Kicked it into Hosking.
How many times has he kicked it into someone today, Paul Jack? But they need to sort that better for next week.
They might have come up with a mistake here again. The Bulldogs might be spending a bit of time with Jared Mullen during the week, Jack Cogger. Is that what happens?
I just think it's the cohesion of the players that are around him as well. They probably haven't played with Jack for a few weeks now, but it needs to improve. Like we were saying before in the call, that the kicking game is just so important in all aspects of our game.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Once again, we say it's hard for Jack Cogger to come back to this grade and have all the bits fitting in. Once again, the Bulldogs have got another head knock out the back there, looking to make a change of the winger. I'm not sure the referees have actually seen it. They might actually attack with one less player here.
Ockenbaugh, he was probably at the...
He's not going to go on the wing. Maybe it is Jamal Idris underneath there. He looks like him.
He's ripped the tracksuit.
Take a step back.
Ooh, Casey Badger, you can hear they're barking at them. The natives are a bit restless in there at the minute, Dan.
Take a step back. All right, nice and calm. We're going to wait for your replacement anyway, so just hold up. We're not
Tell you what,
yet.
if he was over the back here at the Newcastle Trots, I don't know if I'd be backing him, Ockenbaugh. He's lame in that off fetlock as well.
Our game's crazy sometimes. He's obviously injured, but he's got to go back out there to give them 13, sorry.
Sorry, mate, the game is crazy. 20 metres on the other side, there's no one in attack and no one in defence. Here's a penalty for the Knights with 9 seconds left on the clock. The Bulldogs they drove Casey Badger crazy, and then she had no other option.
Hey, but she was in control.
She was in control. Women in league round, and Casey's in control. Can the Knights come up with something? An offload. Here's Nick Meaney, gets the ball away to Musgrave, knocked down by the Bulldogs. That's probably indicative of today's game because the Knights have had no luck and the Bulldogs have been far too good. The Bulldogs 34 have defeated the Knights 24.